All right, everybody. Did I hear about housing in World of Warcraft and decide, hey, I'm going to probably play this again? Yes, I definitely contemplated it. Did I start playing Warcraft hardcore, vanilla hardcore mode, whatever it's called, vanilla, where you can't die? Yes. Is my character almost level 10? Yes. Um, and if anyone can do housing correctly, it's going to be Warcraft. Like it's just going to be. Not only do they have everyone's failed the temps in every game we've ever played, but they have the money and they have the time and they see a hole in the market and they see profit. I will say before we look at this, because I did read it a little bit, it makes me sad because that means we're not getting a different immersive world. You know, a lot of these other games like Palia and um, these like massive multiplayer farm sim community games, a lot of their traits are from WoW. Okay. So I might play WoW again. I know. I can't play WoW again. I can't play WoW again. I might play WoW again. So yes, I've kind of dove in. I'm trying to convince my best friend Snacks to come play. And yeah, that's just kind of where we're going to be at here. So housing in WoW is going to be specific, as they write here. They are looking for it to be more of like themed homes in different areas of the world. So I'm going to assume everyone watching understands WoW or has heard of World of Warcraft, because I think everyone's heard of it, but it is just like a constantly growing immersive game with massive landscape. And so they said that they're excited to kick off World of Warcraft and share some of their philosophies. Now, these are just some concepts of their housing, and they're kind of explaining their three pillars for housing, which is a common way to describe game development when it comes to what you want your audience to interact with and what you want kind of the narrative around a new feature to be. So there's these pillars. I cannot tell you enough how many times I've heard pillars. Okay. Is WoW a cozy game? You know what? I think WoW is the coziest game. It is everyone's cozy game. It is a game that everyone goes back to just vibe, to go play. And yes, I am working on explaining why WoW is a cozy game, because it just is. People just keep going back to it. It is it is it is the game that reminds you that you were a gamer. That's what it is. Okay, so when developing such a large new feature, it's useful to start the first defining the pillars. Three pillars for this is boundless self-expression. So their highest priority is to allow players to build a house that shows off their own personality traits, warbands, and acts of desires and backdrops for role-playing. When I tell you, when I saw this, my like role-playing heart, back when I used to guild lead a role-playing guild in WoW, I was like, where has this been? You know how long we've been asking for housing? They gave us garrisons. They gave us farm plots in Mists of Pandaria. And then now they're finally giving us actual homes. Not only are they giving you homes, they want it to be extremely social. Okay, this is not sponsored. But the thing that I think every housing game is missing is the social part, right? Like you want to build a place with your friends. And then you also want to build your own space. So you're going to have the opportunity to be able to build your own space and build a space with your guild, build a space with your friends, have a place where you guys just go hang out. It's going to encourage interacting, progressing with friends, neighbors, and guilds, and the wider community in a meaningful way. I don't know how they're going to navigate this, if I'm being completely honest. They're not doing the thing that Final Fantasy Online does, where there's like real life real estate happening. Okay, you're not going to have to deal with that. They said long-lasting journey, which kind of tells me that there's not going to be another massive multiplayer game, at least not in the Warcraft universe. Now, could they really come out with a cozy game and just like send Animal Crossing, Palia, like all these other games, give them a run for their money because they can? They could. You know, if this does really well, that means they'll do more of this, if that makes sense. Housing isn't something players should expect to finish, but instead continually look forward to the next housing release. Be it new content or new systems, it's a long-term commitment for us as developers and offers players wide rewards all along the way. So what that tells me is this is probably not going to come out until the next expansion. They're going to have updates for every expansion, and they're going to find a way to charge more for expansions because of housing, or they'll do some sort of microtransaction, which I can't imagine they would do something like that. They really do like people playing the game because you do have to subscribe to play. So, like, that would be kind of wild. But that tells me that they want it to continue to go because Warcraft is a job. You live in your job and you play. Okay. An important note they mention is that it's not an explicit pillar wide adoption as a primary consideration. Most players should want a house in Azeroth. And if a player wants a house in Azeroth, they can have a house in Azeroth. Furthermore, housing is being designed to scale with the player's interests. If someone wants to spend dozens of hours a week on their house, that's great. If they're only interested in coming and going once and twice a month, that's great too. So you're going to be able to do housing. Housing is going to be its own game. They literally just wrote, if you want to just be housing and decorate, it could be something where it's like Minecraft and really sandboxy. And it could be so many of the cool housing games that we do play in that way. So that would be, if someone's going to be a dominant in this category, it's going to be, wow. Just is. If Blizzard did a WoW-based Palia, I always said like Palia needs combat. Stardew has combat. Cozy games have combat. Like there's adventure. You have to have the adventure aspect. The thing that I think the difference between like Palia and even Tales of the Shire is Tales of the Shire, there's a reason for crafting, right? Like in Tales of the Shire, the new Hobbit game that's coming out, your job is to make your plot really cute, make a lot of food, share a lot of food. It's basically PvP or PvE food wars, okay? Like you have to make great food in this hyper specific way. And that's why you're crafting. You know, that's why you're farming for ingredients. That's why you're doing blah. In Palia, there's no reason to do any of it. You can't really play with your friends. You can't really build your home with your friends. There's no combat. Like there's just not a lot. And now that WoW is trying to put their hands in it, it's going to be insane. Okay, so zoning in on home. We've seen a lot of discussion, speculation from the community on where players will be able to have houses. So this is very important. They're going to go real nostalgic and real low level so that if you do decide to play WoW, it's not going to be some crazy high level zone where you can't quite get to. It's going to be probably real early in the game. Okay. There's going to be housing available at launch, one for Alliance and one for Horde. The more possible places to live in the future. The Alliance Zone takes inspiration from Elwyn Forest, obviously, and Westfall and Duskwood, so it's going to be the human territory. And then Horde is inspired by Durotar, which is coastline and Azshara. Two main reasons for these decisions. Having many housing zones conflict with the second pillar of designing a feature that is deeply social. In a world where players can live in many different zones, they become increasingly spread out And even with the aggressive sharding, the chance of seeing sharding is their zone merging. Different shards, it's like mega server style, and now it's when they bring different servers together because they have low population. The chance of seeing other players, much less interacting with them, drops quickly. Putting it bluntly, zones are a lot of work, which we'd much rather do a great job with a small number of zones than do a passable job on a large number or come up with a solution, blah, blah, blah. We chose these as our starting points because of how iconic they are and their respective factions and how much they feel like home to many players already. So yeah, they're going to go for the classic WoW vibe. I hope they do some sort of elven zone. That would be amazing. So these are some concept art. Like it's like you're gonna be able to place things places. You're gonna be able to build sim like you're gonna be able to move things around. Like this is insane. Not only do they have millions of subscribers, but they have over like 1 million concurrent players a day, all getting into housing. 1, that's amazing for WoW. 2, that's amazing for the genre of sim, because then they're going to be like, I really love sim games. What else is out there? So this is the chance for cozy games to really step up their cozy aspect, their sim aspect, their co-op sim aspect. Like this is the time to really be like, how do I navigate all of these players that have probably never played a sim game to like come try this one because they love this. Do you know what I mean? Like this is our great opportunity to capitalize on this kind of audience. Because not only do they have friends or partners that want to play, but maybe they're like, I don't want a Warcraft farm sim game. And then they're like, well, there's this other one, you know, like, okay. Similar, there have been discussions in community on whether housing will be pay to play, win or not, along with other conversations around real world money. We've been very aligned in our internal conversation that housing is designed to be primarily player first and not revenue first. Housing will offer hundreds and hundreds of decorations and house customizations via in-game rewards, but will also offer a smaller number of items in cash shop. This is comparable to how transmogs and pets are currently handled in the game versus the shop. We want to allow players to have some options. So you can buy stuff in the shop. You don't need to. This game really honors in-game achievements. A game like Elder Scrolls Online, where most of it is in the cash shop, most of it is pay to play. And I think there's another one that's pay to play. I can't think of off the top of my head. I would say Palia, but you can't really buy furniture, just skins from Palia. But like if you could buy furniture from Palia at Cash Shop, that's what that would be like. I think Final Fantasy does it too. So it will be interesting what they offer in the Cash Shop, but they really do want you to go get materials, go be in the game, because they get more out of you by subscribing than to buy stuff like that. But okay, a home from everyone. As part of our focus on wide adoption, we wanted to ensure that housing is available to everyone. If you want a house, you can have a house. No exorbitant required or high purchase costs. No lotteries. Enormous upkeep. If your subscription lapses, don't worry. Your house doesn't get repossessed. Oh my gosh. Your houses are also shared amongst your warband, with your different characters being able to come and go as you see fit. So if you have an orc character, you can hang out in your alliance house without a problem. Housing rewards are also shared across your warband. Warband is your current main alt characters. It's basically like if you play more than one character, they have their own little warband, and it's just for organization purposes to be able to hop back and forth around stuff. Furthermore, it's not just warband that cross factional lines, but friendship as well. You'll be able to live and visit other friends, whatever faction. Okay. Will you be my neighbor? Wait, these are all houses. Are these like people's different plots? No way. Like what? What the new Horde neighborhood could be. That's wild. Before we go, we wanted to mention the concept of neighborhoods as a small tease. Houses are organized into roughly 50 plot neighborhoods, letting players live next to each other, work together, and share in the rewards of being part of a neighborhood. Neighborhoods are instant, but crucially also persist, so your neighbors can be neighbors for years to come or until one of you moves. Neighborhoods also come in 2 flavors: public neighborhoods and private, which the game server are responsible for creating as needed and maintaining. Private ones are created by groups of friends and guilds in progress, and you can customize together. While some individual players can have a house, a community can have a neighborhood. Whoa! This is just an initial look at the blueprint we've been working on for housing. There's a lot more ground to cover and details to get into, and we look forward to feedback. I mean, they have a great opportunity to disrupt the space. Am I going to be playing it? Yes, I'll be doing housing. I'll be covering housing. We do cozy games too. Lots of Stardew, lots of Tales of the Shire to come, lots of The Sims, and we'll be playing Warcraft, trying hardcore mode. I don't know if I'll get very far. And yeah, I'm excited to see this. You have my attention. As a longtime player, you have my attention. So this is probably going to be something they work on for forever, which is great. It's great to be able to play and build your own place. And I'm excited to see more. I definitely will be keeping my eyes open. Will you be building a house? We'll find out next time once they update us again. Maybe this fall or the summer during like BlizzCon if BlizzCon happens, but we'll see.